Here are the top stories for today, April 20, 2020. Another round of discussions is set to discuss possible extension or lifting of the enhanced community quarantine. The DILG orders all barangay captains to post the names of their community's beneficiaries for the social amelioration program. And Sorsogon has launched a partnership with over 200 bakery owners in the province to give free bread to the poor. Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story: with less than 2 weeks remaining on the extended enhanced community quarantine in Luzon, the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases starts another round of discussions to determine if there is a need to extend or lift the ECQ. DILG Secretary Eduardo Año says several other factors will be considered by the task force, such as the country's health system capacity and the economic and social aspects of the ECQ, before the task force makes a recommendation to President Rodrigo Duterte. Año said the task force may submit its recommendation to the President on April 25. Meanwhile, President Duterte says he will talk with health experts before deciding whether to extend or modify the enhanced community quarantine. In an interview, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo says the coming days will be critical in the President's decision. He appealed to local government units, or LGUs, and the public to strictly follow ECQ measures to help the government to flatten the curve or slow down the rate of infection. Go welcomed the news that COVID-19 recoveries are now higher than deaths, assuring the public that all those who need to undergo targeted mass testing will be prioritized. The Philippine National Police on Sunday said over 130,000 individuals have so far violated the guidelines on the enhanced community quarantine nationwide. According to the latest PNP data, 130,177 violators were arrested, fined, and warned. Luzon posted the highest number of violators with 80,180, followed by Mindanao with 26,216 and Visayas with 23,781 violators since the ECQ was implemented on March 17, 2020. Police also nabbed 716 individuals allegedly engaged in hoarding and profiteering activities, while 9,349 public transport vehicles were apprehended for violating mass transportation ban. On Saturday, PNP Chief General Archie Gamboa said the police force supports President Duterte's intention to decisively enforce a total lockdown for the entire period under the ECQ after violators hit over 100,000 nationwide. He also ordered the massive crackdown on illegal activities such as illegal cockfight, card games, mahjong, and drinking sessions in public places. Meanwhile, Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar says the country's crime rate dropped by 58% during the ECQ implementation. The latest PNP data reported 1,984 crimes nationwide from March 17 to April 18. The number is 58% lower compared to 4,776 crimes tallied from February 13 to March 16. Crime rate in Luzon declined by 64% from 2,593 to 928, while Visayas registered 54% drop from 1,208 to 552, and Mindanao posted 48% reduction from 975 to 504. The Armed Forces of the Philippines will deploy its mobile kitchens to provide free hot meals to homeless people. This effort is said to complement government efforts to assist street dwellers. Under the Kapwa Ko Sagot Ko campaign, around 3,000 disadvantaged individuals and families will be given free hot meals once a day starting Monday. Purok 1, 2, and 3 of Barangay Tatalon, Quezon City will be the pilot project site for the activity before possibly shifting to other adjacent communities. Other identified beneficiaries include stranded workers or students receiving little or no support, informal settlers, and families in depressed communities. Culinary trained soldiers will be deployed on board 2 military kitchen trucks tagged as vessels of blessings. These troops will prepare the meals every day, while support personnel will deliver them to designated drop-off points. Those who wish to contribute and be part of Kapwa Ko Sagot Ko campaign may coordinate with the Civil Relations Service of AFP. The Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, is urging all barangays to post its list of cash aid beneficiaries for transparency. Meanwhile, anti-government paraphernalia were found on food packs being distributed by a militant group. More on this from Chris Mundo.
The Department of Interior and Local Government has ordered the local government units to post the list of the Social Amelioration Program beneficiaries in barangay halls. The list of beneficiaries can also be posted in town halls, social centers, gymnasiums, terminals, and public markets so the public can easily view the list. This is for the purpose of transparency on the funds of the program. In other news, a 40-bed patient care center built by Taguig City for suspect or probable COVID-19 cases is expected to operate this week. Taguig Mayor Lino Cayetano led the opening ceremony of the COVID-19 PCC located at Taguig Lakeshore along C6 Road in Lower Bicutan on Saturday. He said the construction of the facility, to be manned by 4 nurses and 10 barangay health workers, is the city government's proactive approach in fighting COVID-19. Cayetano said the Lakeshore PCC is also open for those who cannot go on home quarantine for fear that they will spread the virus to their loved ones. Those who will be tested positive for COVID-19 will be referred to the national government's quarantine facilities. Meanwhile, 6 members of Anakpawis who were arrested in Norzagaray, Bulacan for violating strict quarantine protocols and was later found to be in possession of anti-government paraphernalia in food packs. The anti-government propaganda materials were hidden among the 50 relief food packs that were meant for distribution in Barangay Bigte, Norzagaray. One of the Anakpawis members arrested is a student of Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Section 6 of the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act lists down the penalties and violations of the law, including imprisonment of 2 months or a fine of 10,000 pesos to 1 million pesos or both. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Still to come, more than 50,000 individuals get tested for COVID-19. Meanwhile, General Santos City is now cleared of coronavirus. More on these when we return.
Kakagaling ko lang ng grocery. Siyempre, hindi ko hahayaan na pumasok ang COVID-19 sa bahay at mapahamak ang pamilya ko. Kaya iiwan ko ang sapatos ko sa labas. At ngayon, maghuhugas ako ng kamay ng 20 seconds. O ayan, wala na ang virus. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin na nakasalalay. Let's heal as one.
Alam niyo ba na pumapasok ang COVID-19 sa ating katawan sa pamamagitan ng mata, ilong at bibig? Kaya lagi kaming conscious dito sa bahay kapag umuubo kami. Lagi kami naghuhugas ng kamay in 20 seconds. Pag lumalabas kami, lagi namin suot ang mask. Lagi lang natin tatandaan mga mamshi. Buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal as one.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The health department says over 50,000 individuals were tested for COVID-19. According to the latest data from the DOH COVID-19 tracker, the DOH says it performed a total of 52,837 individual tests for COVID-19. 7,166 of these tests are positive cases and 45,626 are negative cases. The Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, or RITM, has performed the most number of individual tests with 33,877, followed by the Baguio's General Hospital and Medical Center with 2,730. Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center with 2,575, Southern Philippines Medical Center with 2,368, and Lung Center of the Philippines with 2,277. Meanwhile, the University of the Philippines National Institutes of Health is targeting 16,000 tests for COVID-19 per day by May 1, as its locally produced kits will be offered at its facility starting Monday. In a presser, UPNAH biotechnology researcher and founder and CEO of Manila Health Tech, Dr. Raul Destura, said they are currently manufacturing 6,000 to 8,000 tests per day. The locally produced kits are real-time polymerase chain reaction kits, which can perform one-step tests identification of a target in a single run with internal control for monitoring the technologist's performance. Destura said the test kits will only be sold to DOH-certified laboratories and will require their personnel to be trained by the UPNAH. In our business news, players in the downstream oil industry have spent at least 180 million pesos under their own corporate social responsibility programs as the country faces the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Energy said oil firms extended their assistance by donating protective medical equipment and gear, giving free fuel to frontliners, fuel discounts and subsidies, and partnering with transport service providers. Energy Secretary Alfonso Cuse commended downstream oil players for tirelessly providing much-needed assistance to their employees, clientele, and the general public, most especially the frontliners. Cuse also encouraged other players to extend their support for fellow Filipinos amid the COVID-19 crisis. Meanwhile, Cuse said the department has assured that energy services will remain unhampered during this critical time. Camiguin Province's lone COVID-19 patient is already tested negative. Governor Jordin Jesus Romualdo last Friday said the Department of Health Region 10 reported to him that the second test sample from the patient no longer showed traces of COVID-19. This meant that the province is back to a zero COVID-19 case status. However, Romualdo urged his constituents to remain vigilant and not be complacent, as quarantine measures are still in place to contain the virus. DOH 10 Director Adriano Subaan said the region has managed to flatten the curve, but all systems and strategies will remain in place unless all areas in the country, especially Luzon, are able to manage the virus to insignificant levels. Meanwhile, officials have declared General Santos City as cleared of COVID-19 after its lone confirmed case tested negative for the disease. Mayor Ronel Rivera said the patient is considered recovered based on the test results released by the Southern Philippines Medical Center Laboratory in Davao City. The patient would undergo home quarantine for another 14 days and subjected to another test before he is cleared to go out in public. The patient, who was confirmed positive of COVID-19 last April 7, was the 8th to recover from the disease based on DOH 12's situation report as of Friday. The Bataan People's Center has been designated to take in health workers that show signs of exposure to COVID-19. More on this and other news from the provinces from Janice Cave.
The Bataan People's Center at the Capitol Compound has been designated as Patient Care Center for health workers of the government-run Bataan General Hospital and Medical Center. Governor Albert Garcia on Sunday said 8 health workers considered as probable cases of COVID-19 and waiting for swabbing procedures are quarantined in individualized tents there. He said BPC will house BGHMC workers who show signs of possible exposure or are displaying mild symptoms. Last Friday, the hospital was designated for exclusive use of COVID-19 patients after 42 health workers tested positive for the virus. In Nueva Ecija, the city government of Cabanatuan started enforcing longer curfew hours and stricter use of home quarantine passes on Monday. Residents will now be disallowed from going out of their homes from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. as per ordinance passed by the Sangguniang Panlunsod last Friday. The ordinance also limited to single use the home quarantine pass for residents going out to buy food and medicine and other essential activities. Businesses authorized to operate are mandated to close at 4 p.m. while wearing face masks will be mandatory. Meanwhile, the modified enhanced community quarantine being implemented in Antique has allowed tricycles to ply the streets of San Jose de Buena Vista. Mayor Elmer Untaran said under Executive Order 40-A, tricycle drivers are allowed to ply the streets provided that they will be regulated. Only 270 tricycle drivers are being allowed to operate in a day, and they will observe social distancing by taking in only 2 passengers per trip. This system will continue until the modified ECQ is lifted, possibly on April 30. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, the Department of National Defense says the extension or lifting of ECQ will depend on the number of cases in the last 2 weeks of April. Meanwhile, Sorsogon has launched a partnership with over 200 bakery owners in the province to give free bread to the poor. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Mga mommies, pagdating sa COVID-19, dapat hindi tayo kampante. Bagamat hindi nakikita ang sakit na ito ay nakamamatay. At hanggang ngayon wala pa rin lunas. Kaya protektahan natin ang ating pamilya. Laging maghugas ng kamay, huwag hahawakan ng mukha, at manatili sa bahay para makaiwas sa sakit na ito. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's hear this one.
Hi Caps! Kamusta?
Well, ito dahil sa COVID-19, medyo stress.
Okay lang yan Caps. Napagdaanan ko din yan.
Ano kaya pwede natin gawin, no?
Kung nararamdaman mo na gulong-gulo ka na sa mga naririnig mo, sa mga nababasa mo, mag-pause ka muna, saka ka huminga ng malalim.
Buti na lang tumawag ka. Iba talaga pag may nangangamusta.
A strong body starts with a strong mind.
Tama. Let's heal as one.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The number of new coronavirus disease cases in the remaining days of April will be the final factor in determining whether the ongoing enhanced community quarantine in Luzon will be extended or not. Defense Chief Delfin Lorenzana said they should see a tapering off or downward trend to warrant partial lifting. Otherwise, they would continue with a lockdown if the trend continues to go up. Lorenzana said this is also the reason why the government is worried over some Filipinos' continuous violation of enhanced community quarantine protocols on social distancing and mass gatherings. He adds this is also why he has instructed Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Filemon Santos Jr. to deploy more troops in Metro Manila and other areas with a high number of COVID-19 cases. He adds military personnel will augment the police to strictly implement social distancing and ECQ. At least 35 units of thermal scanning devices made by the DOST Advanced Science and Technology Institute will be distributed to frontliners working to contain the spread of COVID-19. ASTI officer in charge Alvin Retamar said the DOST has allotted 100,000 pesos for the development of 3 prototypes and 35 units. Retamar said the thermal scanner prototypes can be used via mobile phone, while using a medical-grade thermal sensor would address accuracy issues. Meanwhile, the modified wood moisture meter functions similarly with a typical thermal scanner. Meanwhile, Trade Chief Ramon Lopez expects the demand for face masks to increase to 1.2 billion per month amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Lopez says the figure excludes the needs of hospitals for healthcare workers. He says DTI will continue to encourage more manufacturers to produce medical products, which would now be part of our basic necessities even after the lifting of the enhanced community quarantine. In other news, Caraga State University has targeted producing filters for at least 600 masks that would be distributed to frontliners in Caraga. CSU President Anthony Penaso said the nano-cellulose filters will be inserted in 500 face masks made from ordinary cloth and will be used on an initial 100 pieces 3D printed masks. Several earthquakes hit parts of Mindanao since Sunday. PVOX said a magnitude 5.2 quake hit Davao Occidental on Sunday night. The tectonic quake struck 168 kilometers southeast of Sarangani at around 9 p.m. Instrumental intensity 2 was recorded in Malungon, Sarangani, while intensity 1 was reported in Alabel and Kiamba, Sarangani, Coronadal City, and Tumpi, South Cotabato. PVOX said aftershocks are possible from the magnitude 5.2 quake. A magnitude 4.3 earthquake later rocked Columbio, Sultan Kudarat at 4:30 a.m. Monday. PVOX said the epicenter was traced about 5 kilometers from Columbio Poblacion. The quake at Columbio Fault was followed by a magnitude 3.4 quake that rocked Tulunan, North Cotabato at 5:56 a.m. It was traced 3 kilometers from the Tulunan town center. Before the 3 tremors in Columbio and Tulunan, PVOX also recorded a magnitude 4.2 quake in Malapatan, Sarangani Province at 2:16 a.m. The provincial government of Sorsogon has launched a partnership project with over 200 bakery owners in the province to give free bread to the poor affected by the Luzon-wide enhanced community quarantine. Governor Francis Escudero on Sunday said he met with bakery owners to provide the project after the province received 1,000 sacks of flour donated by San Miguel Corporation. The bakery owners agreed to give 30% of their baked goods to the respective municipalities, while the remaining 70% would be sold for their additional income. Escudero said their inspiration for the bread sharing project is the Bread of Life Bishop's Bread Project initiated by the Diocese of Sorsogon. Meanwhile, a Tinguan tribe in the municipality of Nueva Era, Ilocos Norte, is making its own bread to feed the community for free. Town officials led by Mayor Aldrin Garvida and wife Vice Mayor Caroline decided to put their own local bakery shop so that their constituents will no longer need to travel far to have access to basic commodities. Village Chief John D. Bayudan of Barangay Santo Niño said he and his helpers ensure that their local frontliners have hot bread and coffee on the table when manning a border checkpoint. The other produce are delivered to households. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Another round of discussions is set to discuss possible extension or lifting of the enhanced community quarantine. The DILG orders all barangay captains to post the names of their community's beneficiaries for the social amelioration program. And Sorsogon has launched a partnership with over 200 bakery owners in the province to give free bread to the poor. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more news about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am Rom Dulfo. Have a good day and stay home.